Hello, how you guys doing? James here. Hope you doing have a good day and hope you stay cool this coming week. Um, I'm not gonna show some videos today. Um, I hope this might not be popular with a lot of people, but I'm just gonna be doing my heartfelt talk, and I'm gonna give you a background on why is it good to leave a town where you grew up for most people, and why it's good to sometime move away. You know, a lot of times, a lot of people don't want to move away because they're scared of change. They're scared to start over again, and which is understandable. For me, to start over was a blessing because when you come from an area, I can see how a way of life you think a certain way, you're raised to believe a certain way, and it weighs down your confidence, it weighs down your morality, it weighs down who you are and your identity. It weighs down in so many ways. As you know, many of you told you, of course, I live here in Columbus, Ohio, but I'm still from Ohio, but I live to a city called Youngstown, Ohio. And I'm going to get to this why I'm glad I left for Youngstown, Ohio. The reason why I'm glad I left Youngstown, Ohio, and I was telling this to my friend John because he just recently left. You know, back in the, after high school, during high school, when you're young, like most people, you're trying to feel your way out into the adult world, and you're trying to get a job. And when you live in a town or city, a small city or a small town, you believe you gotta know somebody just to get somebody, and that's the thing. No matter what they tell you, no matter what they mention about, you can do all the right things, have a right resume, you can have the right attitude, the right clothing, and everything's right. But now that and you can say all the right things and still not get hired, and because you got to really be into what they call a click in a niche. And at first you don't think much about it until you get older. When you're younger, you take these little mediocre jobs, making minimum wage at that time was $6.25. In the late 80s and early 90s, $7.25. It went up, so on and so on. So, but to get into the big jobs, the big companies, if you want to do assembly work or like a General Motors or something like a Packer Electric, was one of a couple of big companies. There's a couple other companies like Commercial Intech. Someone would have to bring you in, or General Electric, and which was in Warren, Ohio, which is about 20 minutes, about 10-15 minutes away from Youngstown. And Youngstown is the kind of place where it was mostly steel mills and factories, a lot of steel mills, and they still got a few steel mills that they're trying to hang on. But due to the economy, companies come and go. People got laid off. Some people, so they had to either they leave, take a secondary job, or they have to basically leave the city, leave the town, like most places in America. But the reason that's one main reason why I'm kind of glad to have the mindset, because it's like no matter what you do, to have a positive outlook and be positive and have that zest for apply. It seems like you're hitting the wall when you're in a town like Youngstown, and you got to know somebody, and it's almost like you got to know somebody dirty to get to somebody great, to get something great up under somebody, and then that's not even guaranteed. One of the, some people think by it being an ex-mobster town that that's supposed to get like you got to be some bad dudes or whatever. But I say that if you come from a town where it's mafia, that says a whole lot. It don't spread so much fear, because fear the person who does the most going to get it in the end the most. So how long does that last? But you have people that walked around with that mentality in Youngstown. Some people walked around, and so this is what I was basically observing. Even though it overshadows the hardworking blue collar steel people and some selling people, but that's how you raise. And like any small town, say like Youngstown, you have racial problems. It's not so much you get hired at some point, but you get hired on a job and you get belittled like nothing ever before. And you're not really making no money, but you're taking so much crap from these jobs, from somebody and it's that when it comes to quality of employees in some companies, good or bad, if a person doing right or wrong, it should be such what this is my black employee, I treat him like crap. My white employee, he can do it whatever he want. I'll be less lenient on him. And it seems like that's the kind of mindset it was raised. Like any other cities and towns, you probably know where you're located at. The Youngstown, it really had me depressed because I never felt like I fit in, and I was the kind of person I tried to be positive. I tried doing theater plays, just stepping out the norm. But when you try to step in other arenas, just because you step into an arena doesn't mean you're going to be well received. People are put on a face, but they really don't want you around them. And you picked up like this this is what I picked up along the way. And this is what I've encountered. And so I was telling my friend John, because he's just about to leave. He's got to get some things back. My friend John that I probably did videos about his son, he had to go through the court system. If you see on my past page that what they did to him because his son's autistic, and we had to deal with the staff. And one of the counties in Ohio, Mahoney County, as far as MRDD County, is one of the worst counties in Ohio. If you got a special needs child or an adult, Mahoney County is one of the worst ones. Also, child support is one of the worst ones here. And it was so bad, and my friend John just told me this, that when he met some people in Toledo that had some people that dealing with MRDD and the whole system here in Ohio. Everybody to know in the state that where we're from, the county where we used to live at, they have the worst record on taking care of making sure their clients and their families. And of course, I tell you about the abuse he went through. They insulted him. The county didn't want to work with him. He still had the problems with the county, and they kind of overruled him. And he's trying to fight for his son, but they want to do it on their terms. And it's a lot of back and forth. But this wasn't the only time I seen this happen in Youngstown. It happened to another friend of mine. He unfortunately, I'm glad he's out of prison, but he was set up by a woman that's supposed to be his wife at the time, spread some false allegations on him, and it ended up getting him a longer sentence than what it was. But they put enough fear in him and made him take a deal that, and ever since he come out of prison, from what his family told me, his mind ain't the same. Um, but this is what I've seen out of, and this is something, and I don't take pleasure and joy talking about an area that I practically went to school at. I went to probably put most of my young adult life in school at, but I'm telling you the truth. Sometimes it's good to if you got a town that's corrupt, whatever, it's good to get away from it. Like in my case. Anyway, let me go on screen. But after seeing the corruption and the prejudice, I became very bitter. It became depressing, bitter, watching my friends been through it. I've been on jobs where I got hurt in the past. No, these jobs didn't have no benefits. There was nothing career, and had to file workers' comp a couple times. A couple times I lost, but I got tired of taking jobs that wasn't meaningless. And you go to the worst of the worst on these little companies. A lot of these companies that I had a falling out with, they're no longer in business. And that's especially one that was a major one was called Kaufman's, and they're no longer in business. I got hurt with them one time, and it was a pizza place. I got hurt with them one time, and a few other times. But it's just that people don't do you right, and they talk to you crazy. They belittle you. When you're a black man, they belittle you even more. It's just and so finally. With me, it took in early 2000. I left. Back in it was April of 2000. I left Youngstown and went to Cincinnati, which I probably should mention to you later on in the story about Cincinnati, even the city that it is. From my experience and from my interpretation, what my encounters is, and I'll probably mentioned this before, but getting back to Youngstown. So my friend kept on going through these things and butting heads, and it was so bad that he see how corrupt the court system is. Attorneys that are supposed to represent him didn't want to represent him right. They buddies and stuff. He's trying to get justice for his son. They didn't even want the people that harmed his son to do any jail time. He had to push it, just to send a message that you can't be abusing disabled people. But places like Mahoney and Trumbull County, they don't care about that. It's up to them, And it's when you're part of a certain demographic of people, your income. They don't have a certain respect for you until you do something what my friend did and bring the news into it and shine a spotlight. And then they have to run like roaches, just try to cover up things. So and how the way the hospital treat when that time when him and his son got into a little altercation, and how they didn't really care about this situation. That his son attacked him, not knowing that he didn't mean to do it because it's his condition. And I don't know what is the kind of medication he was on or something, but he properly had to restrain him. At the same time he restrained him, he's trying to beat his parents up, and that's rough when you have someone who's going through something like that. But Mahoney County don't give a crap about that. They don't, and it's corrupt. And it's good. People cover up. It's not so much about black and white, even though they have a black mayor, a black police chief at one time, black fire. That's all good, fine, and dandy. But there's a layer of racism. No matter if you see black people in certain positions, that other black people, you're going to still see some injustice and corruption, and some people just go along with it, and that's just from the politics side of it. But the career wise, you can't grow there. Like his wife was being at a daycare center for 19 years and she never really got a raise. she been at the same pay for 19 years. He tried to ask her to get another job, but she was too comfortable in the job that she had watching those kids. And the job that he was at recently, before he went and got his job in Toledo, he was working around a bunch of people, men that were basically have a redneck mentality. I mean, they would come at him all the time. The mental, the emotional strain of what he went through. And, trying to keep a positive outlook and trying to fight that, because they're trying to find some way to make you feel like your job, if you don't do this job, we're going to fire you. But he had a boss that was kind of like that. Well, John got the revenge in the end, because he kept on getting belittled as a man. So finally, like the other people, another worker saw this, and they saw that was some bull crap what he went through. Because my friend John, he come there just to get along, just like myself. And sometimes it's a battle fatigue for anybody to go through for a little piece of job that's don't have no benefits, no future, no nothing. And at this job, the company where he was working at, they ain't never had a raise in about 3 or 4 years. And those guys were there for 20, 30 years. And he just said he wants something better because, like most places in America, things are going up. Inflation is going up. You got to pay, like most people got 2 cars, a house note, a house, thing. Less like most Americans do. But he was depressed that he had to fight, deal with that stuff at work, deal with the stuff at the court system, and everything. Hearing what he went through, I can only imagine. And it was certain times in my life that I had people talk to me on the job that I felt, and I'm not a violent kind of person, but you ever had someone make you so mad you feel like you want to pick up something and knock their block off because they feel like they can really demean you and demoralize you as a grown human being? I've had that happen to me just because you're just nice and you're non-confrontational. And sometimes I used to think that some people just don't want to work. In some cases, there are some people that are lazy. That's true. There are some people but there are some people that don't. When you get into certain places and companies, they don't know how to treat people right. They don't know how to so they keep going through an array of people. And that was his case. And right now he's at a job that's kind of like a career. After the age of 57 years old, that and I remember I was telling him, I remember back in the late 80s late 80s and early 90s, we were trying to look for jobs. After he got out of service, we tried to look for jobs around that area, and nobody was even hiring. If you had to get into General Motors or Packer Electric, you had to come through somebody. Or GE, you had to come through somebody. So a lot of times, a lot of people have to leave an area like that just to go. And now we see years later that place has been gutted. And the only thing that's back there is a battery plant and maybe a few steel mills. And maybe maybe a couple little companies like that. But even then, there had to be, you had to know somebody to get in there. And so in order to advance and progress, sometimes you have to leave. And to leave a town like Youngstown. And when he told me when he was at work, now we've been out of high school for almost going on close to 30 years, and there's people still stuck back in the past. We all had our ways and what we went through. But he said, but there's people every day who tell me that there are people that live in the past. That's one thing about Youngstown, like many towns. People want to stay stuck in the past. So that's why some people want to leave and never come back. And maybe once in a while, because like you can, it's like you go to, when you live in a small town, and it's weird. You come back, and it's like you come right back into that same century, even though we in the present year, but people are still mentally back in the past 2 or 3 decades that never were able to advance and don't want to try to move up and move out their comfort zone in life. And to me, I thank God it was me that moved out, because like most people, that can be very depressing, thinking about memories of what I didn't do, and it weighs on you, and you're trying to let the past go, but you can't let the past go because you're in an area that's depressing and it's not really moving in an advancement. And you have to get up and leave with your friends or your family or a few friends or people that you've known all your life. Then I look at it this way: some people going to die off eventually, which that still happens, or move away eventually, because that never stays the same. I mean, businesses go away, new businesses come in. It's the same. It's the same old thing, but it's the same spirit of corruption. It is and corrupted in different areas of arena. That is where it's at, and it's like everybody got this. And like he was telling me how the way when he went to even go across to another part of Ohio, people seemed like the people he ran across, it seemed like they were more receiving of him. Where he said even just by speaking to people, just being blatantly, hey, what's up, how you doing, and not getting mean looks and getting people look like they're just crazy. And it's real, and that's something. That's it. And I said, yeah, now you see why I had to leave, and I'm not coming back. They're ever there to live. Now, for someone like our mothers are still living, his father is living, but for someone like in his near the 80s, late 70s, 80s, and so on, I can understand them. They and because in fact, with my mom, she's like in her mid late 70s. And I encourage her sometime to go check on her sister, which is 10 years younger than her, because right now she's having dementia things, and she's repeating herself and slowly slipping into Alzheimer's. And my mother's older than her. My mother like the oldest daughter out of her siblings. My other aunt that lives in Cleveland, Ohio, she's married. Her leg was operated just recently. Her leg was operated on, so she gonna probably be down for a while. I guess they did some things to her leg, whatever. Now she got to get both legs done. So I don't know. That's got to be rough, going through something like that for the next so many weeks to months, getting your legs worked on. And she's about a year younger than my mom. And I text him and call him and check up on him. And my cousins, which is my aunt who has Alzheimer's with dementia, her son is taking care of the finances. Her daughter come down and cook for her. Sometimes her brother and sister, they don't see eye to eye on certain things. That's what my mom tells me. So that's what's going on with my extended family. But sometimes, but I really thank God, despite all that. And I got some things going on, but it's not really serious. Thank God. But even if it did, I'm in the best place right now. It is because Columbus, unlike Youngstown, has one thing about that. You have 4 hospitals, and you have a lot of specialists and whatever medical needs you have. You have a branch in Columbus. Unlike Youngstown, they down to 1 hospital and a few outpatient places and little clinics that they have. That's it. If you want something, if anything major, everybody come from all east, west, north side of town had to come to this hospital if it's something really serious. They used to have 4 hospitals, but they down to 1, and which is bought by Mercy, which is they have like an outpatient in Boardman, and some think it's in Youngstown, but it's not like a hospital like they have here. Anything major, you gotta go to Cleveland, Ohio, or if some people choose to cross over the line, go to Pennsylvania, because that's how bad it was medical wise. So medically, if you got some serious ailment, Youngstown, as far as your medical needs, you need to probably say where there's more hospitals, so you have to choose a medical, not only hospitals but specialists and all the other people that you have a choice. And instead of having to go an hour and a half to 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours, or up to another city to go to somewhere like Cleveland Clinic or John Hopkins or one of them other places, and then someone have to bring you up there. Then you gotta wonder if you have. Hopefully you don't want if your relatives want to come up from there, because some people they don't want to drive or they don't want to travel. You get some people like that. They get so subtle and lazy and slothful in their ways. They don't even want to. Even when it comes to family needs something, they don't want to. Let's say extend themselves, and that's how it is. But that's one of the reasons why I'm glad I left Youngstown. Another reason why is that people in the past, and it was funny. It was to tell me how people still talk about things we were in high school. That's a dang, man. That was like he said. I can't remember things that happened 15 years ago. No, let alone 30, 35, 40 years ago. But yet people, and they still stuck in that time warp. It got kids and grandkids that still reminisce about I don't know if it's a lot of regrets that it is, or it's like they just can't let it go. But I was the kind of person when I was in school, and I was thinking about this before I made this video. When I was coming up, my mom had this shifty spirit where she had to move from one place to another. She didn't like it. She go from one side of town to another side of town, and I went through that. I stayed primarily in my elementary school, but when I got to high school, I didn't really stay in one spot, because I was at one high school on one side of town, which is the school was no longer there. It was called Rand High School. That was my 9th grade year. My 10th grade year was over in another area called Youngstown, Ohio. They're still there, but school is still at the same location. But some of the teachers and people are gone. Who was ever teachers. And then when my third year, I moved to Liberty, and I was only there for 1 year. And then the next year they said, oh, we're going to ship you out to the vocational school out near Warren, Champion, Ohio. So I've always been the kind of person that was never stayed at one place. And I'm kind of glad, in a way, I look back at it, I was thinking, man, why? It's hard, like most young people, they friends and have friends, and because you're not around them, you're not hanging out with them. And so I knew a variety of people from where I go to school at, and where my mom lived at, when we lived on the different sides of town. So I'm kind of, in a way, I'm glad that my mother kind of had me mobile, because when you get stuck in one place, like I see how people are, like they don't want to leave their block, they don't want to leave they don't want to leave the area, and it's like, wow, you see the same people in the same house, same block, and like they say, same city, never been out there, not live in the city, don't even go out to their suburbs, never been to nowhere. They cross their line, and that's a sad way. There are a lot of people that across this country is like that. They live, and you probably know some people like that. Some of you probably know some people that they just never leave their area. And they just stay stuck in the past. And you can come back in 10 years, they talk about the same old stories. But it's new things that come through your life over time and decades. And to be honest with you, some of my best times was being away from Youngstown. um, from seeing California for the first time, going up to Canada for the first time, going to Florida for the first time, going to other places, seeing the East Coast for the first time. I've never been outside the United States other than what's right over the border of Canada. That's about it. But at least I got a chance to see that, before all this stuff happens over these past decade or so with the pandemic and all these other things. I thank God. I mean, hopefully I'll be able to do some more travel down the road. But yeah, I'm a kind of person. I'm glad I left. Um, and of course, I was born in Cleveland. My mother born me in Cleveland, but I never. And I feel like Cleveland is kind of like a part of me too, because my dad was from Cleveland, and my sister from my dad's side, she lives in Cleveland, and we have great communication with each other. And she has. It's funny with my sister. And I don't know why she did this. She moved from Cleveland down where and went to school with my alma mater, Liberty. Her daughter graduated from Liberty, and now when she left and moved back up near Cleveland again, her daughter, she went her own way and had her own children. And now she's down near Youngstown. Go figure. But young people gonna be young people. My nephew, he graduated, and right now he's over at his dad's. But my sister did an incredible job raising two children, and been through some hell and high water. And I take my hat off to her, and I'm glad to say, out of all the women that I've come across in my family, she was one of the ones that learned her lesson, and she finally got her man, and she's married. She finally quit messing around with some guys ain't trying to have no future, ain't trying to do nothing, ain't trying to have some motivation. So, and my brother-in-law is a wonderful person. His family, they're wonderful. It was the first time, and I say this, and it's weird, and it's gonna sound kind of funny when I say this, but it's one of the families that everybody's married, and everybody. When I looked at my brother-in-law's side of the family, because you don't see it in our family too much, but my brother-in-law's side of the family, all his siblings are married. But on our side of the family, there's only a few people that's married. I mean, I've never been married myself, no kids. But I was looking at my aunts, my grand aunts. Well, my grand aunts was married till their husband passed away, but my aunts and a few of my cousins and other people that I know, but they never got married. Some of them never got married. In fact, me and my cousin Sherry and my cousin Margaret don't have children. Now my cousin Eli and his sister and my sister have children. Yeah. In fact, my sister got grandchildren. She got 2 grandbabies. Yeah, they're adorable. And she's just turned 50. Well, last year, my sister is. So I'm like I'm the older brother. But yeah, Paul is an amazing family. He's a good guy. He was sure of his heart, back of his heart. So I'm happy. Because all the other dudes that she was messing with, other than a few ones I kind of like as a brother, well, I'm trying to be that productive man that I see my friend John is. That's trying to strive and do something. They just want to lay around and just be half-hearted, have things and not have the priorities of a family man. Unlike her husband Marlon, he's a family man. He works hard as a driver. But my sister, yeah. But I'm glad she married the right man. But even there, she was telling me when I used to go up to Cleveland, in a particular area of Cleveland where pretty much like my Grandma Johnson, but she's kind of like my grandma. Because my sister, that's my sister's grandmother. But it was amazing when I went up there and she was saying how the same people still on the same block. in that particular area of Cleveland. They never left the block. They never left the block. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, you mean they've been there since? I remember back in the early. You mean these same people still here from early '80s? And we almost in 2021. Like, my goodness, they never left the block. And it's like, that's really. Ooh, you got some people that do but they will allow their past to bind them, literally bound them up, and they live in their memories, and they go over and over and over until the day they leave this world, stuck in their memories, trying to do the same old thing, had the same old personality. And my cousins was like that in Youngstown. You know, they're my older cousins, and they were funny and they were hilarious, but you know they try to be like them dudes, them old timers, doing dudes in the street. But it caught up to them in their health, and they didn't last. They didn't live too long. In fact, 3 or 4 of them are no longer here. But the one that did it right was the older brother that was a police officer, and he's by God's grace, along with my other cousin. That they've been through some prostrate kidneys and all that other stuff, and lost a lot of weight, and they were, you know, family men, good family men. You know, my cousin Leon, he's a really wonderful person. My cousin Leon's the kind of person that everybody drawn, everybody like. He just loved everybody. He's a rare gem. He's a rare person that he liked his cigarettes and the beer still, but he's a hard working dude. But as far as my other cousins on my mom's side, you know, it's the kind of people you see, then you know them, but they act like they really don't know you, and then some act like they don't really care, even want to speak to and associate with you. You know, but my cousin Leon isn't like that. You know, my cousin Johnny isn't like that, and thank God he's filled with the Lord. But everybody else is stuck in the past. And as me and John was talking about this, that like, I said, it feel good, don't it, that he felt that when he finally started the week on his job up at Toledo, he said he felt so free. He said I feel happy now, and that he's looking forward. Of course, he told me he told me a lot of good looking women up there at that plant, but he had to keep his mind on the work, you know. You know, we men we got to check things out. He just how people was it's a different atmosphere. And I said, yeah, that's how it was when I left Youngstown and transitioned from one city to another city. Went to Cincinnati, lived in northern Kentucky, ended up here in Columbus, Ohio. But I seen the same, believe it or not, I kind of seen that same spirit in Cincinnati too, and among some people down there. Not everybody, but there's people in Cincinnati. It's, you know, and it's true. If you don't go to school with them, college with them, they shut you out. They shut you out. And if you got any family, if you got any family and friends, when they get down there, I'm telling you, it's almost like it's a spirit. They just change. It's just something about that area will change people. And I would say go down and visit, but don't live down there. If you come to Ohio, I would say live Columbus. That's my opinion. And if you on hard times, come to Columbus. Cincinnati, Cleveland, them folks take care of their own folks. If you ain't got no people in Cleveland and Cincinnati, it's gonna be very hard for you, because they move on. I say like Cincinnati, that's how they move. You know, I spent like 6.5 years down there, and I've been I've been an Ohio guy all my life, and I've been all over Ohio. Dayton's the same way. Dayton, Ohio is the same way. That's a whole different machine up there, different land of people. And when you know these cities and towns, but Cincinnati, yeah, come here, check out the museums, check out the ball games, but to live here, no. If you ain't got no people from Cincinnati, it's gonna be very hard to integrate Cincinnati. It's like one of them type of cities. I don't know how the city where you're from in America, but it's like one of these cities that they don't gravitate. You'll figure out they don't gravitate to you well. It's not about Avondale, Bush, Blue Ash, or something like that, or something with the Bengals, or something with the Reds. Or with the Brown and Bearcats. They ain't got nothing talk. They ain't got no holler for you. That's the truth. Cincinnati people, boy. Even my own granddad, before he left this earth, he was worried about me being in Cincinnati because I lived down there. And I never forget that he kept on. Why is your asked my sister, why is your brother doing down in Cincinnati? That place is worse. He ain't staying that place. And I'm like, and I don't know what happened to this day. Why my grandfather, because my uncle Gregory lived in Cincinnati, and it must have been some hell of an experience that he was scared to death of me living down in that city. It was something about, of all the cities, you would think I was moving one crazy cities, but yeah, he didn't think too highly of the place. Then my uncle Jerome, how the way you had some people coming from Cincinnati he used to work for. They would come all over. One time he was sick on the job, and he told the story. Every time he told me the story, I would trip out how this company out of Cincinnati didn't believe that he was sick. That they sent two of their representatives up from Cincinnati to see was this man really sick. And I was like, wow, that really was really shocking. But yeah, I'm in the right city. Columbus, they got their issues here. But it ain't like Cincinnati, ain't like Dayton, ain't like Youngstown, it ain't like Cleveland. Oh, trust me. I mean, it's not the worst. But it ain't the worst place. Trust me. And here, you gravitate to somebody gonna help you. Whether you're a stranger, somebody gonna help you. Somebody got time for you. Cincinnati people, I guess you don't believe me. It makes look to see when you go down there. But we'll live down there for about 6 months. You'll see what I'm talking about. And it may be some people listening to this video from Cincinnati. I don't care. It's the truth. It's like some people got that small town. Now I've talked to other people that come through there that was there. They once lived there. Say, yeah, I do sense it's kind of conservative, kind of really standoffish. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it has its racial component. But yeah, it's you would think, and it's almost like it's a spirit that take over that territory, and it's people turn in that spirit, and it's like they got the same kind of spirit. In every territory you go to, watch how the people carry themselves. Watch them real closely. You might find a nice person once in a while. I'm not saying you do, but when you go to that town, down that city, in Kentucky, northern Kentucky, it's okay. Depends on where you go in northern Kentucky, but it has its ups and downs over there. But it's kind of a little bit better than dealing with Cincinnati, especially get out further away from the city. It's a little bit more better. People are a little bit more laid back. But you also gotta be careful of certain town, little areas down there, because they still are still like backward sundown town mentality in Kentucky. So you have to consider that. Depends on what part of northern Kentucky you go to. And if you the right shade, the right color. Now, if you're white, you're good. Might not have no problem. You may not see it, but if you're some of color, oh, you're gonna notice real quick. Put it to you that way. Oh, you're gonna notice different. They go, hey, how you doing? Like, oh, guess we ain't having a good day here. Time to go. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's what. But this is I want to make this video in my heart felt. Why I'm glad I left Youngstown, Ohio, and it's been a journey. And I encourage anybody out there. If you feel like you're getting depressed, you feel like you're getting down, you feel like you don't belong there, regardless of your age. My friend just did at 57. I left years ago when I was in my late 20s or 30s. Do it. And you can always come back and see your friends and family. If they care about you, they can reach out to you. You know, I mean, because people get up and travel anyway. Why not take a trip down to come check you out? But yet, so I would tell any person, get out of your town. If you feel oppressed, depressed, it's probably that area. And you were made, and I'm telling you, maybe if you don't necessarily want to leave the United States, but go to another city that it's not programmed for you to think like that. Because it's easy for someone to program to make you think that's the way life is. No, it's not. People are not like that everywhere you go. Everybody's not. You got that. You know, you gotta be my clique. This is my corrupt, and they deal with nastiness and intimidation. And I'm not saying that you're not going to encounter some mean people, vicious people, but I can understand. It's the mindset. I had to get away from it, and easy, guys. It wasn't easy for me because I was used to that environment. But what kept me in the sound mind that I tried to step out my norm, do community theater, going to church. But you can even see it then. People they nice to you, but after the thing is over, it's not like you're going to be good best friends because you're going to go your separate ways. And so I was always the type of person, but this stuff, it either makes you withdraw, stay reserved, and that's what it was. That's how I handle it. But I was so glad to see that my friend left because I was trying to get them to leave 30-some years ago. So finally, he left. But his wife was to hold up, and I said because her mom was living at the time, but now he don't have no regrets because now her parents is gone, some of her siblings are gone. Trying to get her to get up and leave. Let's get up and go. And she's trying to drag her feet about it. And the thing about it, she got a few siblings that's left. One of the siblings, her sister, lives out there in northwestern Ohio where he about to go, which is Toledo. But for some reason she wants to fight and she don't want to follow. She's always battling about stuff like that. She wants to maintain control. And he's the husband. He's trying to think about the finances and see the future ahead. God gave him the provision to be the protector, that provider. And it seemed like she's one of these women that just want to fight and wants to have her say so, maybe in control, but don't want to offer to step up and help in ways. You know. and I could tell the frustration. But he told me when he was out there on that job, it wasn't the women, it was the job. He said he felt free. He could use his mind. He felt like a human being, a person that God designed him to be, and that was pretty deep. And because I know what he went through, I know, when we were young, trying to get jobs, and again, it was hard. Only jobs you get like the areas where you make a certain wage, but you ain't got no benefits. There's no future. And a lot of them companies don't last that long, and they go out of business. They got to start all over again, like a good portion of people. But I'm proud of him, man, and I'm proud that we left. And I'm glad he's gonna get he's working on trying to get his son back out of that county. And now his son is in his other county in Appalachia, his little Appalachia town in in southeastern Ohio. And the family telling, ain't you gonna move down there? I said, why would you move down there? There ain't no jobs down there, for one thing. It's Appalachia. Number two, ain't too much going on for people that look like us down there. No, it's them folks down there. And he said, yeah, there's nothing. So he's trying to get his son out of Appalachia so he can get him up near a place up near Toledo, so he can watch over him. But right now he's trying to get himself set up and everything. But I'm proud of it, and I tell you, man, I understand, the frustration. We were talking about that, and I said that's how I felt the whole time. And I think I withdraw and held it in. I put up with the phoniness and the fakeness of people. And it does something to you, to the point that when I think you start seeing life what it really is. And when you get to a certain point and period in your life, you see people are phony, they're fake, they're not really legit, they're not sincere, they're not genuine. And that goes for you. Sometimes people that's so-called in your past, and your extended family, to your so-called friends and people you grew up with. Sometimes you gotta go. So the message of this video is, man, get up and go. Get up and go. Do not stay. Do not be one of the people that's hold on to your memories. You're going to be miserable. No matter what age you are, get up and go. Just life. Live your life. Then people, you can't live in your past. That's why God made the past. So I just didn't want to do this little rant, and it might get a few views. I ain't been getting that many views. Oh well, anyway, it's my personal. But yeah, just encourage you to get out of that town, get out of that area, go see the world, go see the country. If you're young, don't go do it. You got a dream, do it. Don't hold back. Don't wait till you get our age, in some of our ages, and regret later on. Like, damn, I should have did it. Do it. Even if you don't necessarily leave the country, go to another part of the United States. See what it's about. Meet new people. Start a new chapter. Because a lot of people did it before you. Why can't you? So I hope you guys enjoy this video and staying some encouragement. Yeah, but sometimes you gotta get up and go. And I know it's gonna be scary because you might not unknown what's gonna happen. But if you have your faith in the Most High God, He'll open up doors for you and give you favor. And again, pick before. Let me say, go visit the city, see how to get a good feel of the area before you make it your home, your new home too. Don't. But and again, some people might like to come to Cincinnati, but to me, my opinion, I would pick some city in Carolinas before I come to Cincinnati. That's my personal opinion. I would take a city in Texas, because and with some of you that travel, you know what I'm talking about. You travel across this country and come across people, or you live in different areas, you'll see what I'm talking about. And you can someone tolerate Florida, do it. All right then. All right then, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you. Yeah, this is my input on why I'm glad I left Youngstown, Ohio, in Northeast Ohio, and it's a blessing. So, encouraging somebody. Sometimes you might have to leave where you know to get to where you got to go, so you can grow in life. God never intended for you to be in one place at one time. If you find yourself keep hitting the wall, it's time to go. Simple as that. You find year after year, almost a decade after decade, get up and go. Get up and go. If they ain't trying to promote you, they ain't trying to, see some change. Sometimes save your money up and go visit and go see other places. You see the change, and it will change you, so you can tell others what's other side of that valley, that town, that there's life out there, that there's other people that's wonderful. There might be other areas of a good place to live and start a family, and so your kids can have a different, so they won't have to live in their memories and be stuck in their decades. So show them the world. That's what when you have a family. Go see the world. Because we only got so many years on this planet till the good Lord will take us home. So do as much as you can. And those people don't want to come, cut them off, let them go. They kind of discourage you, they throw things at you. Let them go. You'll be good to go. Because at the end of the day, is you the person that loves you, the one that put you in your mother's womb, and maybe a few people that God put around you. That's what matters. So remember, take that note. Till next time, you guys take it easy, be blessed, and happy travels. And people, leave where you used to be, and venture out for more. Take care.